Anything else to do around here?
As soon as we fill this hole, we're done.
Flipping the outdated cowboys versus Indians trope, the Yellowstone finale argues that rich white landowners and Native Americans may yet find common ground. And here at ScreenRant, we don't want to see the story end just as it's getting interesting again. Here's why Yellowstone still needs a sixth season.
They won't be solving any of the world's problems tonight. They might make some new ones, though.
Sheridan's flagship neo-western has always been criticized for its circular plot and predictable beats, but this was largely resolved in the cliffhanger finale. For those who haven't seen the ending of season 5 yet, spoiler warnings are in order. In the last episode, Beth kills Jamie, and the Dutton-Broken Rock rivalry is finally settled. Yet everyone's fates are also left wide open in the aftermath of the historic real estate deal. In crafting the finale, Sheridan also laid the groundwork for Yellowstone to continue in a bold new direction.
For 160 years, our side just stopped fighting.
At $1.25 per acre and a final price of about $1.1 million, the Yellowstone finale revealed that the ranch is actually around 880,000 acres in size. And if it happened in the real world, the Broken Rock Reservation consolidating the largest contiguous ranch in the US would have made headlines. Indeed, the Yellowstone finale has all the makings of a series about the land back movement, the global fight to re-establish indigenous sovereignty. The Duttons certainly weren't the first white private landowners to practically give their land back to indigenous Americans. Nonetheless, the conditions through which Chief Thomas Rainwater reacquired their lands make Broken Rock's story quite unique, and it would be a shame to end it just because the Duttons no longer own the land. We still need to see how Mo and Rainwater would deal with some of the same critical problems that the Duttons faced: state and corporate-funded development aggression. Arguably, ending the story here would contradict one of Yellowstone's core themes, unveiling the struggles of the last stewards of unspoiled American wilderness, as real-world North American tribes like the Navajo, Havasupai, and Ojibwe continue to fight for their indigenous lands. The future of the Confederated Tribes of Broken Rock could be a mirror of what's really going on across the continent. In fact, the modern Broken Rock Reservation is the result of reversing a land deal that goes back to the westward expansion in the 19th century, the root cause of the land back movement today. And apart from the future of Broken Rock, the story of Yellowstone's first family isn't over yet either.
Cowboys are the only people on Earth that get excited about grass.
These stories will clearly continue in the Yellowstone spin-offs, the Madison 4/6s, the yet untitled Yellowstone sequel, and the rumored Beth and Rip series. However, instead of having this many irons in the fire, Sheridan can consolidate at least 2 of his planned spin-offs into season 6. Rather than the Yellowstone sequel and a Beth and Rip spin-off, the story of the Duttons can simply continue into a 6th season alongside the future of Broken Rock. This would also force Sheridan to avoid circular plot lines and to instead pursue the organic futures of his ambitious narratives and characters. As Case and Beth live out what are likely to be very different lives, there's still much to unravel in terms of the Dutton legacy. After all, the remaining Duttons have essentially evaded justice for their crimes in the past. And with the investigations into John Dutton's death just beginning in the finale, Case, Beth, and Rip could face a long overdue reckoning in the near future. Should an unseen enemy expose what it took for the Duttons to protect their land? Could it possibly have an effect on the legitimacy of their final deal with Broken Rock? Indeed, there was a time when Yellowstone's plot was actually undeniably compelling, character-driven, and unpredictable, and Sheridan already has the ingredients to pull that off again with a 6th season. However, it would only work if Yellowstone underwent massive changes.
Let's go to work while there's still some work to do around here.
It doesn't even have to be called Yellowstone Season 6. Following the events of the 5th season, Yellowstone Broken Rock could follow Mo, Chief Rainwater, and Case's family as they transform the ranch into a home for the tribes. This could quell audiences' fears about the ranch getting torn down. Broken Rock is just as likely to use the existing infrastructure for their community's needs. Conversely, the soft reboot could focus on Beth and Rip's new life in Dillon. A city with a population of just a little over 4,000, Dillon could be the perfect setting for an old school Western revenge story. With the Dutton and Broken Rock deal in the backdrop, a forgotten enemy could dig up Beth's past as revenge for selling their land, forcing Rip to go back to his old murderous ways. However it happens, a soft reboot would fully justify continuing Yellowstone in a brand new season. Moreover, allowing these stories to continue opens the possibility of interconnected plots with the spin-offs.
How's Texas treating you?
Yeah, I survived.
With Broken Rock likely having to deal with many of the same problems that plagued the Duttons, Mo could soon have business at the 4-6s in Texas, finally giving Jimmy and Mo a chance to interact. Curiously, these two actually have very similar views regarding John Dutton, although Mo is likely to have Beth's same reaction to Travis. Meanwhile, in the upcoming spin-off The Madison, the plot will be focused on rich New Yorkers emigrating to Montana, so the Madison's Clyburns are bound to hear about the Duttons, fellow billionaires who've fallen on hard times. They might even hear the story from a familiar cowboy looking for work. Lloyd could be a recurring character in the spin-off, a living encyclopedia of the truth about the Yellowstone Dutton Ranch. Alongside a 6th season of Yellowstone, 4-6s and the Madison could continue the story of Broken Rock and the Duttons, expanding the mainline narrative across 3 shows. Indeed, while the Yellowstone prequels are great, what audiences really want to see is for the story to progress in the modern setting. And although such a massive endeavor would normally be impossible for a showrunner, Taylor Sheridan literally owns many of the biggest sets needed to make this plan viable.
This is usually some pretty good watching.
Rather than being bogged down by Kevin Costner's departure, Sheridan doubled down by confronting the ghost of John Dutton head-on, proving in Season 5 Part 2 that Yellowstone can still improve. With a promising new plotline to follow, it would be impossible for Season 6 to slide back into the roundabout plots of the middle seasons. Whether Sheridan expands the mainline narrative using the spin-offs, the flagship series and its beloved characters deserve to evolve further. In fact, from Case, Rip and Beth to Jimmy, Teeter and Rainwater, nearly everyone ended up in a promising new chapter in their respective lives. With all that being said, the franchise could also be better off if Sheridan focuses on the spin-offs and then relegates the 6th season to the back burner, at least for now.
We got another already. Slam it. You want to have a go? Sure.
With Sheridan seemingly adamant on getting those spin-offs out the door, this may just be the most viable way for Yellowstone to get a new season. While essentially functioning as Season 6, it could also be a legacy sequel of sorts, releasing several years after the Season 5 Part 2 finale. In this scenario, the spin-offs could play out as Sheridan initially planned, with the ongoing story of Broken Rock frequently revisited in the background. This would then set up a deeper dive into what's really going on at the former Yellowstone Dutton Ranch, except in a later sequel and reboot of the original show. If this does happen, however, it's bound to generate clamor for a 6th season to be made much earlier, and this brings us to the simplest reason for Paramount to produce Season 6. To be honest, even if the season finale was great, we just really want to see more Yellowstone. And we're not alone. The first episode without Costner's John Dutton, Desire Is All You Need, was seen by 16.4 million viewers during its premiere, breaking the show's own record for viewership numbers. In total, Season 5B or Part 2 was the most watched season in the show's history, averaging a total of 13.6 million views. And although Season 5's 79% tomato meter score is a step down from Season 4's 91%, there's clearly more than enough audience interest to justify greenlighting Season 6. Indeed, this isn't just about Paramount keeping its cash cow alive. It's also about continuing a story that has touched so many, allowing the neo-Western genre to further evolve, and potentially raising the level of storytelling in mainstream TV. But what do you think? Do you see any actual merits in allowing Yellowstone to continue to a next season? Or do you think Season 5 is as good as the show will get? Tell us your thoughts and theories in the comments, and keep watching ScreenRant.